Greetings. Greetings to all my enemies and all my friends. Tonight, we're going to talk about when the shit hits the fan. Yeah, we're going to talk about when the shit hits the fan as it relates to crypto, because tonight is the first of many interviews in a series that I'm calling, what did I call it? WTSHTF Savior 7 series. My guest tonight doesn't even know what he's in for. He doesn't even know that he's a candidate for this. I'm going to spring it on him like I'm going to spring it on you. But if you haven't looked around, if you haven't turned your television on lately, I sure haven't. But from what I understand, seems like the shit's hitting the fan out there. So I've been going through a little mental exercise over the last month or so, just kind of thinking about, when that heavy heel boot comes down on the neck and the oppression becomes real, the heavy-handed regulation becomes tantamount, then what do I want my crypto portfolio to look like? What coins can stand firm to oppression and say, no, you move? That's what this series is all about. Why is it called the Savior 7 series? Is because we're probably going to start with a list of candidates of about 10 to 12 coins. And I'm going to talk to you about what I think the attributes are for them to remotely be considered. They're not going to have everything, but this is my wish list as I understand it. And, I used to say, because I don't know shit, but guess what? I'm starting to know a little something. So I'm putting to use my base of knowledge and what I have learned over the last, goodness gracious, 3/4 of a year now. Wow. And I have kind of laid out what are the attributes that we're looking for for candidates that would be part of our portfolio when the shit hits the fan. What do you think? I think that sounds like a good exercise. And I'm going to introduce my guests real quick, and then I'm going to go dive into those attributes, and we're going to unpack each one of those as it relates to this gentleman's project, his coin, the coin that he represents tonight, which is LiteCash. Justin C., say hello to everyone. I'm going to just drop something in the chat here that says we're live. So let me copy and paste it. But why don't you introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and what you represent, and then we'll dig deep.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Uncle V.
You are.
It was a pleasure to be back on your show. I really enjoyed the last interview that we did. I'm with the LiteCash project, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of the LiteCash project. We have a lot of great things coming out in the pipeline. And I know, although the price does not reflect exactly what we have done, all of our hard work that we have accomplished since our last run, but I am here to explain why LiteCash is definitely on the forefront of Mimblewimble and as well as the privacy coin sector. And I couldn't be any more excited to be here with you, Uncle V, to exploit exactly what we're doing. I mostly handle the PR. I do a lot of the marketing. I'm also involved heavily with exchange listings, everything of that nature, everything developer-wise. We have our devs. And I also, our whole community would love to have another video with you, Uncle V, with our dev, our main dev. And hopefully we can get that somewhere down the line as well. But for right now, I'm going to, answer your questions. And I'm really happy to be on your show right now.
Cool beans. Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, you are a return guest, and we had a good chat last time. And when I was doing the shitcoin trials, and we certainly didn't declare you a shitcoin. But tonight's when the shit hits the fan coin discussion. So I guess it's all relative. Let me just say hello to the nerd 386. Standing on the moon. Hello, been wondering about LiteCash, holding a little bit. LiteCash is still very much alive. Okay, great. Well, let me share with you my thinking as far as what I believe to be really, really important. If I could just kind of put the clay on the table and mold it and shape it in the image of what I think would be the savior coin in this series, it would have to represent a lot of these attributes. And first and foremost, it has to be a solid design. And man, I was sharing with Justin before the show. I'm part of a service to where the coin, it was called the digital note, XDN. That was a coin pick about 4 months ago. And man, it went from like, let's say it was a $2,000 investment. That's now $136 today because it had a really crappy design and it got hacked twice. So, it's really, really important that you have to have a solid design. And in my limited learnings, that's going to require proof of work. So that's one of the attributes. Solid design, I want 100% proof of work. I want 100% open source. I want it to be 100% private. All transactions are confidential. I want built-in resistance to heavy-handed regulation. I want no ICO, no initial coin offering, no capital raised by investors. I want no pre-mine, thus no pump and dump shenanigans that are gonna go place. I don't want a corporation, no business entity established to monetize the protocol. I want it to be 100% volunteer community. We're looking for strong communities in all of these coins. Needed to have a determined utility. Needed to solve a problem. No, I'm not interested in a meme coin. I'm sorry. I want it to have a purpose. I want it to be scalable, not a bloated blockchain, not one that just, to be able to complete a transaction. It's just goes so slow that it takes minutes instead of seconds to actually transact. And that limits scalability because nobody is going to use that to pay for their coffee. I'm sorry. So I want a non-bloated blockchain, and I want it to have a reasonably high-speed transaction because, again, I want the utility. I want it to be able to be used like cash, right? Where you can pay for things. And I want it to have a low transaction fee so that you can tip your waiter, waitress, personess, whatever you want to call them these days. So low transaction fees. I mean, we don't want it to be, I'm putting BTC in the consideration, but the fact is, when the shit hits the fan, you're going to talk about BTC transaction fees that are going to be $100. And as it continues to go higher, the transaction fees are going to go higher. So you can actually use that as currency. No, and no. So, and I want, because bottom line is I wanted to appeal to small scale users for day-to-day transactions. And then I want it to be mineable. I want it to be mineable by non-nerds. I want people to be able to without investing in a $20,000 piece of, equipment like Asics, that you might have a shot of being able to mine the coin. So you can mine it, you can buy it, and then I'm really interested in projects to where there's some forward thinking on how you might be able to earn it as well. So those are my that's my thinking. I will tell you now, and if you're listening, if you want to put in the chat if there's any other coins that you'd want to be considered, just keep in mind those attributes. There's probably some that I'm going to mention that you're like, why not? And I'm going to say they were pre-mined. Sorry. So BTC, Monero, Zcash, BSV, BCH, Firo, Epic Cash, Mimble Coin, R, PRC. Why? I don't know. I'm probably not. I like privacy. So I just kind of put that out there, but they were pre-mined. And LiteCash. So, and that's because you came back into my life and I'm like, you know what? Justin's a good dude. Let's have this conversation. You weren't originally on the list, but you are now. You didn't even know that before now. But so that's my premise of the series. What do you think about my attempt to try to find a coin that when the shit hits the fan, yours might be left standing?
And you know what? 100%, everything that you had just laid out absolutely is LiteCash. I mean, we have lightning fast transactions, extremely low transfer costs, no dev fees, no pre-mine. It's been a fair launch. Asic Resistance, inflation resistant mobile wallets. We run on the Mimblewimble protocol. Everything that you had mentioned is everything that LiteCash is. And I can't stress this enough with this blockchain. When I first got involved with this blockchain, I absolutely fell in love with it. I looked at many projects before LiteCash, let me tell you. And this was when on Tweetoger that it was just a dead scene. You had Pirate Chain running everything, and all the other coins got set by the wayside. And a lot of these projects, because they're community funded, have a hard time getting on bigger exchanges. And that's what we're really trying to figure out with getting listed on multiple exchanges, which we are doing. We have one coming up immediately, and then another one, hopefully by October, November area. And what they really want is they want business entities. They want, that KYC feature to their coin. And that is not what cryptocurrency was supposed to be about. So the fact that you are saying that is absolutely spot on. The real community of cryptocurrency enthusiasts. I'm not talking about the meme coiners. I'm not talking about, people that just get involved that only know the word Bitcoin and nothing else. Privacy coins are here to solve an issue. And it was everything that Bitcoin was supposed to be. And unfortunately, with the high cost of transfer and being able to be tracked, and now the new KYC process, people are starting to go into different avenues. And that's exactly what I did. And when I found LiteCash, it blew my mind. The transfer speed is just as fast or maybe a little bit faster at times than XRP. And that's XRP's main goal, was to be the fastest transacting. And I think LiteCash definitely beats it out. And on top of it, we also get the privacy feature with it. Mimblewimble is one of the most highly sought after privacy features that I have even come to research. I even did a little bit of research today, like ZK Snarks and ZK Starks, rig signatures, stealth addresses, you name it. Mimblewimble still beats them all out. And mostly because the speed factor. The speed is second to none. And, Mimblewimble's been modified since, but we also don't want to sacrifice our speed. And there's really nothing wrong with the original Mimblewimble protocol. So people that really want to, keep upgrading, keep whatever, that's fantastic. But until you actually do an upgrade that is comparable to what you already had, LiteCash is going to continue on the path of privacy, speed, extremely low transfer costs, being extremely transparent. We're going to keep working on mobility. And you had mentioned, if you want to tip at a restaurant, that's exactly what LiteCash was originally intended for. Mm-hmm. And that was the original vision. And we've modified that vision because we have now seen that throughout the year, now 2 years now since LiteCash has been created. And that is such a short span of time to have a, little bit of like a research period, is that currency, fiat currency and government-backed currency needs to be replaced. I mean, it's terrible. The inflationary aspect of it is absolutely terrible and horrid. Mm-hmm. And the fact that LiteCash can combat that, and most people say, well, it's inflationary because it's got 770 million coins that can be minted. In the grand scheme of things, if you want it to be actually transacted by utility feature, everyday use, that is nothing. You don't, like I said.
So tell me about that. When you say so, all right, I'm going to go down. Are you proof of work?
Yes.
Are you open source?
Yes.
Are you 100% private?
Yes.
Through Mimblewimble.
Yep.
Okay. And you had no ICO, so fair launch, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
No pre-mine.
Nope.
Not a corporation.
Nope.
100% volunteer community.
100%. I don't get paid for this.
Your determined utility. You just discussed scalable. So without Mimblewimble, your blockchain is what? What's your block? Do you know how many megabyte?
It's very low. I can tell you that the exact number, because if I'm off by one byte, I'm going to get ridiculed for it. So
Yeah, I hear you.
I will tell you it's very low because Mimblewimble, the protocol itself is extremely low.
Okay, then tell me about the design, because you have the original Bitcoin standard 21 million. Why would you? What do you have? 700 and some?
Yeah, 770 million.
770. So let's go over here. Let's just take a peek here. So this is you, right? This is LiteCash. We go to CoinGecko.com.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's see. So it's just so everyone knows, it's LiteCash, CASH. And where can I see? So your market cap is $1.5 million. Here it is. Here it is. So tell me about the total supply and the circulating supply. So you started with 723-ish.
Yeah, basically around 723,000. Yeah. Or a million.
Yeah. So, and when did this launch?
2019.
2019. So basically you're about a little more than a third of the way through. So you have about 500 million coins that are remaining to mine.
Yes.
Over how many years?
Which offers us scalability. So that is all on its its feature of how it halves and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be a very long time. Like I said, our dev could answer all those questions in depth, which we want to get on here.
Yeah, I'm not going to put you on the spot for any dev talk because I'm the wrong dude to talk dev as well. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the 1 year. I was looking at this earlier and I was like, wow, 9/11's coming up. This looks like the Twin Towers. Talk to me about this, because it seemed like you were just trading sideways forever. And then what happened here to give you that massive spike? Because usually when I see this, and I say this with love, but there's usually like an influencer of some sort that's involved that gets people's attention to where people go into that, but bam, it's like it crashes. So this is what I hear everything that you've said, and I like everything that you've heard. But when I look at this chart, I see two what looks like massive pump and dumps, and I don't understand them. So educate me.
Right. So, and exactly here's what happened. What happened was essentially, I have my own channel that I operate through. And when I first found LiteCash, I said, this technology is absolutely beautiful. And when I researched a lot of these projects, you go into their wallets, you download their wallets, and it looks like it was technology from Windows 98. And I didn't understand why these projects were not upgrading to more sophisticated systems. But LiteCash was all there. I mean, it was up to date. The wallets look beautiful. Everything, functionality was perfect. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went on my own, and I, had pumped it through. I pump's the bad word to use, but I had told my viewers that that follow me through my Rizzle channel, and that's a social media network that really no one really knows about. So I didn't really think it was going to catch much traction. The timing was absolutely perfect between TDV and TCV when they were coming out with their brand new pick. So, my followers had put in a little bit of money, and then all of a sudden.
Oh, wait. So this was in May.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So this was around the Darrow time.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely way before. I would say probably a month before the Darrow, because, they.
So I know exactly what happened. You had all kinds of speculation that you guys might be the pick.
Correct.
That's exactly what happened. So you were on Trade Ogre then at
Yes.
that point.
Yep.
Okay. I bet you if we look at, let me do this. I want to, this is going to be fun for me. I want to see this. If PRCY, let's take a look at them and let's go down to their chart and see if in May, let's go to the 1 year and let's see if, was it May? Oh, June 21.
I mean, the pattern's pretty, I mean, looking at it right now.
So they not the timing doesn't track. I expected them because that was the same thing. People were really speculating on whether they would be, or was this when Darrow came out in July? It's probably July.
Yeah, no, May was when the chatter was going around saying that, you know, they were going to come out with a new pick. I believe that lasted a few weeks, if not a month or so.
Okay.
So, you know, speculation was very high. And also people get really excited about new projects. Everyone is always trying to find the up and coming thing. So, you know, that would make sense.
Okay. So now that we know, what did we decide? July. Let's go look and see if you are, if this is July. So, yep.
There you go.
That's right. Okay, so now we know this. These are some speculation spikes here, and the dump is because in each case, or certainly in this case, so this side is speculation, and this side is, oh shit, that wasn't the pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that brings you back down to earth. And if you wouldn't have had this or this, you know, over this period of time, you're increasing in value. And like everything else, you know, the past several months, I don't know about you, but my portfolio sure is down. So I am looking for, you know, they keep talking about having the experience of being in a hyperbolic market. I hope I suffer from that. I want to feel that too. Actually, it kind of felt that way when R was really taken off after TCV, you know, made that pick. So, okay, this I understand this now. So thank you. That explains that. I'll get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely directly correlated. Absolutely. And it's funny because people, they look at that and they say, oh, it was a pump and dump. As you can tell by the price, how it didn't go all the way back down to 1 sat. You know, there are the people that have learned about the project. They love the project. The functionality is amazing. And we see people inside of our Telegram or Discord. They're like, wow, like, where was this coin? And the coin was there. The old, you know, team that was taking care of, you know, the marketing stuff like that kind of fizzled out and they kind of like let it go. I figured, you know, this is way too good to let up. So now we're sticking with it and now we're taking it to the next level. And that's exactly what we're doing.
I mean, I'm just going to take a quick peek because I really appreciate those people that come in and watch us. Hey, what's wrong with nerds mining? The nerd 386. Nothing's wrong. That's what I want, man. Oh no, I said non-nerds. So no disrespect. I self-identify as a nerd when I'm mining. How about that? Hey guys, greetings from Honduras.
Hey.
Oh, Randall, how are you? All right, no one seems to care about transfer speed. The top dog is still Bitcoin. You know, when you're right, but we're talking about what? When the shit hits the fan, man. When the shit hits the fan. And by the way, guess what? I think Bitcoin is a surveillance coin. And I was going through a little exercise in my mind. I was posting some videos and it wasn't showing up and it was ticking me off. And I'm like, you know, why aren't people seeing this video? And then I'm like, duh, it's because I set it to private. And so I thought, you know, the difference between Bitcoin and the video I was posting had to do with Epic Cash. And I said, oh, this is interesting. Bitcoin is like posting a video and hitting public to where everyone can see it. And, Epic Cash, because of Mimblewimble, which is what you use, when you post that same video, you set it to private, but it's auto private. So nobody sees it. And that's just kind of an interesting parallel. And then once I set it back to public, boom, there it was. And everybody could see it and enjoy it, especially the regulators. So that's, I don't want to have my net worth in Bitcoin when the shit hits the fan, but that's just me. Let's see. Casually kosher. Beam guys have nothing nice to say about LiteCash. Davies and Angus just swear when somebody mentions it. What's that about? What's the Beam connection?
So yeah, if you want to talk about the Beam connection, is we don't really have one other than the code of the blockchain. And we didn't really like the way that Beam handled how they were, funding their devs and stuff like that. That's not what cryptocurrency was about. So we felt the need that the technology was fantastic.
Wait, back the bus up. Educate us. How was Beam funding their devs?
So they have a really high transaction fee, I guess, that goes towards their project to help fund their objective. It's embedded in their code that when any transaction takes place, there's like I guess I wouldn't really say it's a gas fee, but it's a fee that goes to them that they can then use to, transfer into BTC or whatever, US dollars, whatever they want to. And that's how they fund their project and do all these great things. But, it's not really fair by any means that they do that. And I think LiteCash, we really want to take a different approach to that.
Are they doing that on transaction fees or on miner fees?
Definitely on miner fees. And I believe it's also on transaction fees. I know the nerd 386 that is definitely tuning in would definitely know the answer to that question. But they are getting fees off of transacting and mining.
So
it's basically a network fee.
You took out the developer fee then, right?
Yes. Yep. No developer.
So then there's no revenue to support the development. So who's working on the code?
So that's the great thing about our developer is that, when he buys into cash, it's like buying a stock really. And unfortunately, like when you buy stocks, you can't actually do anything to the company, whether you know better than the company or not, you can't do anything about it. There's a board of directors there that makes all the decisions, right? So us as a cryptocurrency community, and the best part about being community funded is we listen to everybody. We have between all channels, probably close to 4,000 to 5,000, community members, and we listen to everybody. And if there's a need within the code, or if there's a need within the functionality of what we do, we listen to those people. We really make sure that everyone's voice is heard. And it makes for a better project because 4,000 heads are definitely better than 1, 2, 3, or 10. So it's just a good way to operate. And the way we get funded through that is ask for donations. People, we've had more donors in the past, I would say 2 weeks, and those people know exactly who they are. They're awesome people that support this project. And they don't have to, give us any donations, but they do that because they want to see it succeed. And I think that absolute willingness to donate to something is absolutely amazing. And we are very happy those people are donating to our project because it makes us able to get these new exchange listings that we have one coming up soon. So that would not be possible without our donors. And I think a lot of credit has to go to those people because we're not cheating the blockchain. We are literally, and we don't even ask really, because there's a lot of the time that we'll take the hit and we will self-fund things, us that are part of this cash council that is, trying to control everything, because we are diehard in this community. We want to see it succeed. There's nothing else we want to see more than that. So that's how we do get our funding. And that's, where we get our drive.
I gotcha. I can appreciate that. I mean, that is the nature of the beast. When you have a community driven fair launch project.
And it's very strong too.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I mean, people really want to see cash succeed and, just like myself. And I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. There were, I'm not going to say a couple, but there was one LiteCash fanboy that I just had to ban because he came in and he was just like, he had one speed and it was called LiteCash.
Which we are speed of light. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. He was a little heavy handed and I just finally got sick of him. So he got the ban hammer. So how does the emission curve look compared to Beam?
And again, that's definitely, I would like you to talk that more in depth with our developer because he can answer that to a T.
Is your developer in the chat?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Our main developer, Pav, he's been on the road for quite some time. So he's doing everything remotely at the time being. But he definitely would love to be on this chat at some point. And I'd love for you to get into technicals with him because he's a very smart man.
You wouldn't love that, but I'd be happy to have somebody. See, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to interview representatives from all of these projects. And then at the end, and this is going to take, a couple of months to get through this. And then Absolutely. At the end, I'm going to declare the Savior 7. And a lot of thought's going to go into it. And then once we have the Savior 7, I want to approach it from a not an either or, but a both and, where communities can unite and support each other. And so I want to create then a panel to be able to talk about just what's going on in crypto and maybe have a check-in every month or so. And I think it'll be kind of cool, but we'll see how that goes. So maybe we get your dev fee on, or your dev guy on at that point in time. So let me see. It's not community funded 100%. It's Beam community funded and LiteCash community copied. We got Casually Kosher. I've seen him in the in my chat before. Actually, a really smart dude.
Yeah.
But so he knows his shit with crypto. But so I don't know what Beam is, honestly. Is that a blockchain?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a fork off of Beam. So,
yes.
Okay, and so what does he mean? Beam funded? or we?
I guess they're refunding in Beam is what I would take from that. I'm not part of the Beam network, so I guess I don't know what that is.
Okay,
be a little bit turned off by the Beam network and how they operated because of all those parameters. I mean, yeah, you could say that there's no pre-mine or anything of that nature, but when you have a really high fee for that goes back to their project development, we're based on low fee, a little basically almost non-existent fees really for LiteCash, which is what people want for transactions.
Look, I'm not against a fee to be able. I mean, I get it, man. It's pay to play out there. So, people don't understand. Well, Wind Moon, why aren't you on these exchanges and all of this? And why aren't you an Exodus wallet? Why aren't you? You know what I mean? And people don't realize that 100,000 here, 500,000 there. Pretty soon it grows up to be a lot of money. That when you're fairly launched and your proof of work and it's mined. I know Epic Cash has a miner's fee of I think like 6%. Then it goes down to 3%. I think in October, or it goes down by 1%. I think every halving or whatever. But but that look, if you don't want to pay it, you don't have to mine it. Nobody's bitching. But that does create some funds to be able to, start playing footsie with some exchanges and stuff. But it's not easy. So if for those of you in your community that are supporting you and the project and stuff, and you have some benefactors, then great, good for you. I think that's awesome testimony.
And also, I do have a question about the Epic Cash. So when you say the fee, now that's pretty high fee. You said that would go to new exchanges, etc. Are they still just only on Vitax? Now this is not to bash. This is literally just to ask because I actually do like the Epic Cash project.
Yeah, Epic Cash is on Vdix, which I learned is how you say it, Vdix.
Builds VDEX.
And are really, really close to being on a couple of additional exchanges. Version 3, as I understand it, to the blockchain, the next generation, or however that works, is like imminent, like this week. And that's going to final empower the wallet and the whole entire ecosystem that includes ECR and EUSD and so lots of exciting things. Obviously, it's no secret I'm an Epic Cash fanboy, just because I've learned so much from Max Freeman and the community over there.
Yeah, no, not a bad project at all. I love them.
Yeah, they've really spoon-fed me and given me an opportunity to take a deep dive and actually kind of understand how these things, evolve from the inside. And that's why I'm sitting here saying to you that I applaud, what you guys are doing and how you've gone about it. And it's not easy, man. And there are over 10,000 coins out there, and I really kind of am delighted that I have kind of painted myself into a corner to where I don't even consider 99.9% of them anymore, just because to me it's like it's shittier odds than going to Vegas and putting it on black on a poker on a poker table and expecting to win. What I mean?
That is very true.
So let's go in here. Ageless Edge. I think what Casually Kosher is saying is that you have a problem with Beam because of dev fee, but then you just copy the code and mock the fees that paid for what you use.
That's just not even true, because in order for them to create their blockchain, it had nothing to do with dev fees. They did that on their own as a project. So I don't know where that question was going with that comment, but I guess.
So the nerd says, we really don't have a problem with the fees. We just don't want our coin to have it. They are in their right to have their own way of doing things. Got it.
Right. And that's also true. But, let's be honest. If you want to really emulate day-to-day transactions with like cash, when I pay cash at a store, I don't have any fees. Why would you want fees?
Right. Right. Now I was going to say, but now when you go out, I guess you can't go out and mine cash, can you?
No. I mean, the United States does.
The Fed does. Money printer go.
That's endlessly running, by the way.
All right. So tell me about mining. Can you mine? How do you mine LiteCash?
So it's mined through a GPU. It's what I had an outdated computer, so I had the biggest struggle trying to mine at first. The memory in my GPU, which was top of line when I bought it, but it was only 2 gigabyte. I think you need like a 4 gigabyte or more on your GPU. So I went out and bought a 1060, and mine's just fine. You look at our mining tutorials on our YouTube, and it's inside of our light paper. It's very simple to get started. It's really not too hard or very involved. It's very comparable to a bunch of other projects, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And because it's GPU mineable, I think Gminer is probably the best software to use for it. I know that there's LL Miner as well.
Let's do this. So is it LiteCash.com?
Light-cash.com. There's a little dash in there.
Okay. Where the heck is it? All right. I lost my little Light-cash. There we go. Thought I went there. All right. Walk us through. Show it off, man. Tell us about this. Take me on a tour.
Oh, about the mining?
No, well, just your website, and if you want.
The website as a whole. Yeah, let me bring it up here for you, just so I can follow along with you. All right, so along the top, you've got the white paper, our Explorer that says exactly where our standing on our coin is, the height that we're at, in the outstanding coins that are available. We have exchange listings, our roadmap, commerce. We have a merch section if you want to buy some merch. I bought some merch. I absolutely love it. When meme coins were getting very popular, we decided to do cash cow because that's, cash is associated with being a cash cow. So that worked out pretty good, but we're definitely not a meme coin. There's our plugin for WooCommerce, which is absolutely amazing. And also, by the way, to
plug in for what? Plug in for what?
For WooCommerce. So essentially, people that have WooCommerce websites, they can implement our plugin so that they can accept LiteCash for payment.
Oh, that's cool.
Which it is really cool, and I'm about to dive deeper into that because I don't want to just restrict it just to WooCommerce plugins. I know there's other plugins that we could have. And we really, because of the ideal of cash is to act just like fiat cash, except for a digitized world. I really want to expand on beyond WooCommerce, but it's a good place to start, honestly. There's a lot of WooCommerce businesses out there. And that's kind of where we're going marketing wise. We really want to push that aspect of it because, as you know, it's really of who sees the coin, who gets recognition of it. And once they use it, that they know it's faster than a credit card transaction. Where there's not like an outstanding balance that's pending, stuff like that. Once you start using it, it's, second to none. It's almost like literally using cash, by going to the, let's say grocery store and buying your groceries with it. It's really cool.
All right. So how do we get these freaking retailers to start taking our cryptocurrency?
So that's a great question. So what I have taken upon myself to do is I really want to reach out to because they have a database for everyone that's on WooCommerce. And I would like to give them a template showing exactly the parameters of LiteCash, what it's all about, the transfer speeds, all that stuff. And I would even give them maybe, let's say, a test run where they can download the wallet and I could show them exactly how it works, give them a rundown of the website, stuff like that. So that's all part of the marketing that we have in the pipeline that I'm very excited to show people that do have WooCommerce websites, because honestly, I think it would change their world. I know there's a project, ETN, Electronium, that was basically on that route, but they went straight KYC. And, I had issues with them after that. But their functionality as far as transferring funds was perfect. I thought it was great. They did, and they're also a cryptocurrency as well. They were a fork off of Monero. So the fact they went KRC was actually kind of bizarre. And I think that's what hurt their price. But we have the same opportunity with LiteCash to do the same thing, except keep that anonymity and privacy.
Okay, so Beam is centralized due to the influence of its creators, which is why this new fork allows the LiteCash community to make its own development choices in the future. Is that, I believe I read somewhere that Beam is an Israeli company and, country not exactly known for respecting privacy of its citizens, and with a history of heavy-handed regulation. So am I on the right track with that? Am I thinking about, did I read the right stuff?
I mean, that's more of an issue with Beam because LiteCash is not an Israeli run crypto.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about, is Beam.
Yeah.
And is that then one of the reasons why you guys forked, is to not be under the centralized influence of Beam? Because you state that here. Okay.
And I can definitely tell you that definitely played a big role in it, because, Beam's blockchain was actually very stout. It's actually a really beautiful blockchain. Unfortunately, they went a route that LiteCash did not like. So we kept the technology behind it, but went more decentralized with it.
Okay, so Beam decided to just start playing footsie with the Druid Babylonian bastards and went full KYC, right?
Yeah, and you know what's really funny about this, actually, in research that I've done recently is, ZK Snarks, which is basically what Pirate Chain and Zcash run on. ZK Starks, you put a T instead of an N there, and that was formulated by an Israeli company, which is very funny. So it's almost like, I don't know if they're going against the government and doing it, I would imagine that the government's closely monitoring the developers that are making these kind of things. But we did not follow that line with Beam at all.
Okay, Mimblewimble, one of my favorite Dr. Seuss characters. Mimblewimble is a blockchain protocol that allows for a completely private transaction platform through a unique security framework that is remarkably different from that of well-renowned Bitcoin cryptocurrency. In Mimblewimble, there are no addresses and transactions are fully confidential. Its distributed ledger is also relatively more compact than other chains in the crypto space. So by not having addresses and transactions, it says there are no. So it's not like with Monero, for example, you do have the information in the blockchain. It's just it's kind of like putting it under a magician who puts a ball under 10 cups and moves them all around.
Right. So what Monero is basically they put out stealth addresses, and all the payments are routed to like a unique blockchain. And what they do to combat that being tracked is through ring signatures.
Yeah.
And that kind of just like, it's almost like exactly what you said, like a magician, you put it under like 10 cups and they slipped it around with other 10 balls. And, you don't know which ones is whose at that point. And it makes sure that the legitimacy of the transaction through the blockchain, to make sure that there's no random coins minted that have no point being on the blockchain, kind of like what Apple Digital Note is hidden. So you can't duplicate it, no nothing. So it's great technology. It just takes really long.
But it's really long, and that's what bloats the blockchain, which is why it makes it to where it's difficult to imagine that becoming, its use case being currency, if you will.
Right.
And it's not future proofed. I mean, because we just don't know what we don't know. There could be some AI that comes in, 5 years from now that can reverse engineer all of that, figure that shit out. But if you have no information, you have no information. So I don't care how good your AI is. So that's why I love me some Mimblewimble. And that's why I think Rafael Laverde and Mix X over there at TCV are just full of what when they say Mimblewimble is trash.
I find that so funny. When they say that, it really just shows their colors, really, that they are just, they're doing their own research. They're really negligent to other privacy protocols.
Well, they're just Monero. You take a look at it. MixX is just a 100% Monero fanboy and stuff, and it would hurt their portfolio. Just take a look at their holdings and
exactly
how heavily weighted they are in Monero. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to, it's probably not good for the brand to be able to pay homage to a better technology.
Right. They can go back on their word.
Yeah. So that one's really easy to war game and reverse engineer. So that's good. Let's see. So competition. All right. Let's looky here. Privacy Coin, Monero, Zcash, Dash, Pirate, Epic Cash, and LiteCash. So, well, you made yourself look really darn good there, fella.
And I recently had just said this about the PRCY chart that came out. A lot of those were very one-sided questions where like only their coin goes to.
Yeah.
But this one actually really isn't too bad. I'm not the creator of this chart. So I was kind of just, looking at this chart. I was inheriting this chart. And when you actually really look at it, it 100% makes sense.
Where do you guys fall short? What's your Achilles heel?
Our Achilles heel? That's a very good question, because I'm yet to find one that's extremely strong as a, candidate to argue against LiteCash. I honestly couldn't even tell you what would be the worst part about it. I guess maybe because of people that want to so-called moon is our market cap is too high, but that's only in place for scalability. So as time goes on and our fees are still negligible and others are rising, that just gives us way more scalability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in the shortcomings, I guess that hurts our share, or the coin price a little bit. But for the long term, it's exactly what you need to grow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these others have they have time on their side, and good for them. But it's
but where's the scalability?
Look, absent being able to, this is what people don't get. I mean, a really good project is not going to moon. It's just, or it shouldn't moon. It should just kind of continue to go up, in a trajectory. But when ultimately you get influencers involved or shillers or whatever, that's when you see it go up. Or in your case, it's like speculation can do that too. Right. But that's what I want to avoid like the plague anymore, because it's like, I'm just not good at selling at the top. I really suck at it.
I mean, if everyone could buy at the lowest and sell at the top, everyone would be a billionaire. So, if you put it in that kind of framework, as long as you land somewhere in the middle, I guess you're doing okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It for me, it's like it's like when things were going really well and they came down initially and they retraced, I was like, okay, I'm going to learn my lesson. When things start going back up, I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to set price targets, take profit targets. And when I do, I'm going to take, like, if something 2X's, I'm going to take 25% and I'm going to put it in my little, I called it my John Holmes bag. You can go back to my previous videos if you really want to understand why. It's because I got sick of people saying, "Oh, well, this dip is a gift. Buy the dip."
Yeah.
I'm like, with what? I
Regular rhetoric.
Totally committed to this crypto thing, and when things dip, it all tends to dip. So I decided, all right, I'm going to figure out how to get to safety, and then I had people start scaring the crap out of me about Tether, about how that there's going to be a rug pull there. So I'm like, blah. And then, so it's like, and then, it never started going back up to where I could execute on that plan. It just kept going into the dumpster, over the last few months. And so it's like, I'm just happy this past couple of weeks to see, rebounding to where, I'm still not whole, but it's better than it was. But this is the point in time I should probably say, okay, smart boy, why don't you get your John Holmes bag out? Why don't you take, 10% of that and put it on the sidelines? Because what's going to happen. There's going to be like 9/11 is going to come in crypto, and let's say, boom, it just goes straight down to, retraces another 50%. And so I don't know. I said I don't know shit. I still admit I don't know shit, especially when it comes to selling. That's why I like Mike Newton at the Moonstream service, and Weiss Crypto does a good job too, to where they not only, like TCV does, give you buy target, buy picks, like buy Darrow or whatever.
Yeah.
They also give you sell messages. They get way out in front of that and say, okay, now's the time. You need to take profits, take 25%, take 50, whatever. If you follow that, then you can do pretty well.
Or you couldn't get burned.
You can get burned for sure. You can get burned on anything. I mean, those guys have a rock solid track record, and their, what was Digital Note was one of their picks, and it just they got I don't even hacked twice, and they're not going to come back from that. I don't think so.
Hacked twice? No, that's hard to come. To come back from one is really outstanding. Twice.
Yeah,
Yikes.
I'm gonna stop sharing that. Let me go over into the chat real quick, because we are going to, okay. All right, let me go back up. Okay. Sorry, we'll stop. All right. So let's see. Let's get a thumbs up for Uncle V, Rescued Car Collective. Absolutely right. I'm still hoping that you find that 2004 Mercedes AMG CLK 55 for me that has less than 20,000 miles on it. I'm looking for that. Counting on you. All right. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I don't follow Beam. Okay, good. Neither do I. They're just marketing cheap, super fast transactions. So how are you ASIC Resistance? What can people mine LiteCash with? So just GPUs?
GPUs, yes. And what makes us ASIC resistant is that we have a very special mining algorithm that is to our own. So it's not something that, like, let's say a massive company like Bitmain would create a chipset that would be specific to LiteCash. And that's how everyone gets around ASIC resistance. And then, if let's say, because there was the issue with Equihash, all those were getting, ASIC miners made, and Monero fell within that parameter. And what happened is they changed their mining algorithm, I guess. And that's what left over, Monero Classic and stuff like that. So, we are ASIC resistant, and, we're definitely going to continue to be ASIC resistant, in my opinion. Bitmain just doesn't have the time, or I guess will, to make a miner specific to LiteCash. So that's just the way of the ASIC game works, because I guess technically you could, it would take a serious genius to do it, which I don't even know if Bitmain has for that specific algorithm. They could, but
so the nerd says it's the algo that makes it resistant.
100%. Yep.
All right. Jennifer Lee, I am a GPU miner. From Ethereum days, GPU algos are vulnerable at tech level. So,
well, I mean, I guess you could raise it up to Vitalik. I'm sure that he would argue that statement.
All right. Let's see, Jennifer Lee, what they mean by ASIC resistance, that because they're, let's see, also say ASIC resistance. I'm just reading here. All right. Ralph and Jeff are only in it for the quick buck.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why
that
they're
comment
scared of
speaks a lot of volumes, by the way.
Yeah, that was the theater of the absurd around that Darrow time. But I've said my piece on that. All right, man. So we're going to keep it to our word and keep this at an hour.
I do have one more thing that I feel like you probably should have mentioned.
Sure.
Litecoin, which is, an OG, it is the silver to Bitcoin's gold.
Okay.
Second coin created, it was a different algorithm. It was on the script algorithm. Fantastic project. I've always been a huge fan of Litecoin. I remember mining Litecoin back when it was, $1 or $2, and they're putting in Mimblewimble to their protocol.
Are they really?
Wow. They 100% are. So what we had done at LiteCash was we said, once that goes mainnet fully, because right now it's still in kind of a testnet phase, that's going to be huge, because I look at TradeOgre and you look on the Litecoin pairings and you don't see much on the fronts of Mimblewimble coins, which really struck me as odd, because why would you not? Because you're going to want a seamless transaction into Litecoin to another Mimblewimble once they all fully, the LiteCash community, or the Litecoin community, that is very large, wants to look into Mimblewimble more. We decided, hey, let's put a LiteCash to Litecoin pairing. And that just got released 2 days ago.
Cool.
So we're happy to have that pairing.
Trade ogre scares the shit out of me.
Oh, absolutely. As it should.
I think it's not if, it's when. And I think anybody who keeps their coins on that exchange versus just a quick exchange and on and off are absolutely nuts.
And we tell everybody, make sure you keep it inside of the wallets that are given on the LiteCash website, the official wallets. Never keep anything to an exchange. People should have learned from their Cryptopia debacle, the MT Gox debacle, all those. I mean, never keep anything on an exchange. Even places like Binance get hacked all the time for millions. Fortunately for them, they make so much in transaction fees that they're able to just weather the storm and just say, screw it. We're going to just take the hit. It's no big deal to us.
Yeah. So word to all of you out there. I mean, it's like, has being on Trade Ogre helped? I mean, other than the speculation, I mean, has it helped you from a market cap standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, if you look back, LiteCash 100% was basically non-existent. After the launch, people kind of just lost faith in it. And I think as of recent, there's been a resurgence because as you see new coins coming out and you look at the functionality of LiteCash, it really is second to none. And it is really attributable to Mimblewimble. And I honestly suggest any Mimblewimble coin, like you love Epic Cash, and I know that. Epic Cash is also a fantastic project. I'll never bash them. Mimblewimble is the way to go for privacy. And I did a bunch of research. Like I said, ZK snarks, ring signatures, stealth addresses, you name it, cloud with Dash. Mimblewimble really is the best at the game of privacy for functionality.
Yeah, I'm a non-tech dude, but I agree with you because those smarter than me have kind of educated me on that, and I agree 100%. The Trade Ogre. So what happened? Did you just Shazam wake up one day and you were there? Because I know that you can't have a direct connect with those guys. I think the only way you can connect with them is through their Twitter.
Well, that's the only way to contact them. They are pretty responsive. I will say that. So kudos to them for being responsive.
Yeah.
A lot of exchanges really aren't, surprisingly. And, it's tough to get on exchanges due to the new KYC policies coming out, which makes Trade Ogre such a gem in the cryptocurrency space because it's exactly what it was supposed to be. Yeah. But it comes with a lot of risk as well. And that's why we're going on to other exchanges as well. We would never put all of our eggs in one basket. We want to be on as much as exchanges as possible. And that's why, we're on VDEX and we're on Trade Ogre, soon to be Polarity Exchange, and another that I cannot announce because that's still in the works. Yeah. You spread that out because these exchanges that are a little bit too lenient on their KYC, it could be any day now, like you said. But do I have to give kudos to Trade Ogre? Absolutely. They have been a great exchange, and surprisingly enough, they have not been a target to anything. Even when the Cryptopia problems were going on, Trade Ogre stayed very steady. And I got to say, Trade Ogre is a beautiful exchange. I do all my trading for privacy coins off of Trade Ogre, and they've never done me wrong. I can transfer in, I can transfer out. Yeah, I know VDEX had issues with transferring out. There was people in the LiteCash community that said, hey, we can't get our coins out of Videx. And I said, well, that's a problem with the exchange, not us. Yeah. And I hope other people don't come into those issues, which is why I always go to as many exchanges as possible because it's going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's good, man. Well, look, you've done a nice job. I appreciate it. And I'm trying to be objective with this series. And I want to give everyone an opportunity to be able to make their case. And I think you made a nice one, a good one. So thank you for that. Appreciate your time tonight. And yeah, man, just hang in there. I want to let everyone know, please go to t.me/Uncle Vigilante Lounge. Please go there. That's where I hang out and talk crypto with folks. If you're one of those people who like conspiracy stuff, you can go to t.me/Uncle Odds Lounge. That's plural. and come on over, man. Say hello. And how about right now, smash that like button. All right. Maybe let a few people know that this channel exists. And I really invite you to hang in here through the next couple of months, because I am going to make the honest attempt to get as many people from these different projects on as possible. And if you're one of those, please reach out to me. Come over to t.me/Uncle Vigilante's or Vigilante Lounge and just message me. And let's go. Let's set something up. Come on in and we'll have a conversation just like we had tonight. I don't think I bit, did I, Justin?
Absolutely not. These were all the very fair questions that I believe that a lot of people really want to know. And especially on our channels, it's hard to emulate that. So it's better to have it in a conversation. So I think we answered a lot of questions tonight of where we're at and what we keep working on. And we are very far from, the end of our project. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. So,
awesome.
I really hope that people stick with us and don't let TDV and TCV control your thought. Is going to be
amen to that. I think that's right. I mean, they expose themselves to me with that. And actually, I can respect a business model. I can respect Jeff that he's a shill but he's also been very on target over the years. And so I respect that. And the same with TCV. What I didn't like is how they treated the newbies when they pumped that Darrow coin and acted like they didn't afterwards and blamed it all on the newbies for, buying into a sell wall a mile high. And they just in such a condescending way were like, well, you should have read the report. We only have 2% in our portfolio. And it was just so silly because I reverse engineered that and did the forensics and, case closed on that, How about
the
that?
gavel is out.
Case closed. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll leave with them under the bus, rightfully. But thanks again, Justin. I really appreciate you coming on and
always a pleasure.
Good luck with the project and go post a link to this in your communities and tell them to come on over and say hi.
I 100% will. I love being on the show, and I think you are on the right path of really showing what other projects are all about. That the mass majority, so they claim, with TCV and stuff, that there are other projects out there that are better, and I think you do a great job with getting those projects online.
Awesome. So everybody, if you want a little LiteCash, go over to Trade Ogre. You can find them there. Let's see if we can help them out.